We started boxing in 1963. West Metairie was a mud street, and Delta just had the gym. It didn't have anything else behind it, you know. And eventually it grew. Upstairs we had one open room, I guess approximately 40 feet by 60 or something like that. And they had a steel beam across, so I had one bag, one body bag with a chain, and that's how the club started, with the one bag. We started off with maybe 10 kids, and such a small area, there wasn't too much you could do, but we mapped out a little program to start, you know. It wasn't sponsored by the department because funds was limited. And then later on, we got a little help from the late Sheriff Harry Lee. He helped us with expenses for trips and stuff like that. And of course, the recreation department would always make the gym available for us to have a workout room and also to sponsor shows. We proved to the area that it was something that the people wanted because the attendance at the shows was always good. And that inspired us as coaches and organizers of the program to give the people more of what they wanted. I remember some of the great amateur boxers we had back there, like Eddie Geddes, Larry Tatman, Paul Whitaker. I mean, we had some tremendous fighters that made a name for themselves on a national level. I mean, everybody knew Delta Playground.
Delta was the jam-up club in Louisiana, you know. When Delta showed up for a tournament or a show, you could tell the other guys were like, oh no, here's Delta, you know. That they were gonna probably be matched with one of us, and you know, they knew they were gonna have to fight.
When we go to a show on a Saturday night, we would come in as a group, and we sat as a group. And Frank would not have allowed to let us to roam off and do what we wanted to do. We sat as a group, as a disciplined team.
But we had to look good. We had to be, nothing. We wore our muscle shirts and we had purple. It looked good. We had nice uniforms every time. We were probably one of the only gyms that had that. And Mr. Frank made sure that we all abided by that.
Delta had purple and white colors. That was our colors. And we always had nice shoes. I mean, everybody was squared away. You had to be squared away. I mean, you weren't going to be looking like no bum with those sneakers and just gym shorts and an underarm shirt. You were going to look squared away. Delta, like I said, Frank took pride in the Delta Boxing Club and made sure everybody had a pair of nice trunks, a Delta Boxing Club emblem, and shoes, and that was mandatory. Like I said, it was pride. You gotta have pride.
Well, when I was growing up, I was all about Johnny. You know, I was the tough guy, and nobody really liked me when I was growing up because I was all the time beating up somebody. You know.
Why did you get into boxing?
Well, because my daddy did it, and I thought I could try it out, and instead of beating people up in the street, try to do something real and fight somebody equal. You know. When I first started boxing, I lost 3 out of my first 4 fights. You know, and I won the first fight I won. I was nervous. I hit the guy with the elbow, and I knocked him out. And then they gave me the decision. You know, they didn't see it. That was my first win, and my whole life started changing right there. I was just that excited. You know.
I needed to learn how to box because I didn't know what I was going to do. I mean, I went into a middle school, Jefferson Middle, and those guys was tough. They used to take your lunch money. That was like in '71. So I went over to the gym, met Mr. Frank Gerard, and told him I wanted to be a boxer and all of that. He said, okay, we'll be glad to have you. He says, but just so happened, registration is over with for '71, so you can come back next year. Come back next year and have the same enthusiasm and be interested, you know? But come back ready. We'll put you in the ring with somebody. We'll see what you got. He says, okay. So went through the '71 year and ended up over at the Delta Playground in 1972.
I grew up in the Allen Park subdivision, and I was 11 years old the first time I seen boxing. My dad and a guy by the name of Bill Condon took all the boys from the neighborhood to Delta Playground to watch some boxing matches. So we went to that, and then after about a week went by, I told my dad I wanted to try it. And my grandfather knew Mr. Frank Gerard, and he took us over there, went and see Mr. Frank, and we started training over there. And
well, we had a lot of kids living in the neighborhood where I was at, and every time I had an older brother, every time I walked out the door, I had to fight somebody. So that's, you know, and we were poor. You know, we didn't have much of anything, and what happened to me when I got in trouble with the police, got sent to Rivard, somebody referred me to Delta. Kind of straightened me up, say.
Born in South Texas, 1952, September 13th, to Ray and Sofia Ramirez. Probably moved to New Orleans. We moved on the West Bank in Algiers, probably I'd say 56. From there, we went to the Ninth Ward. Ninth Ward was for a lot of years we were there. Went to St. Vincent de Paul Elementary, and then when Hurricane Betsy came, I think in '65, it just flooded the whole Ninth Ward, so we moved out to Metairie. That's how I slowly got into boxing with Delta, you know, through that way, because I was the oldest I've got 3 siblings, I got 3 brothers, and I was the oldest. So of course I had to protect them. And basically, you know, I met a guy one night, I can't remember what it was, I think it's St. Lawrence CYO, was a little dance club back at the time, and he had, I talked to him, I can't remember his name offhand, but said he was boxing at Delta. So I said, well, let me try this out. So I went over to Delta, and as I say, the rest is history. I just got so infatuated with it, you know, it was a passion.
I wasn't the best kid in school. Like I said, I had a lot of energy. So by going to boxing, that kind of let me disperse a lot of that energy out of my body, and it helped me calm down. And my dad knew Frank Gerard from playing baseball with him, so he brought me over at 12 years old, and then from there on, me and Frank had a very good connection. And
I grew up in Harahan. We had a good family. We had 4 boys. We played football on the side of the house. We had fun, and I was actually going in the wrong direction. And I really needed some kind of guidance. My stepfather helped me out. He wanted me to get involved with boxing. We got involved with boxing. Boxed for the gym that I came up in Harahan boxing gym. Started fighting, and worked hard, but this was real bad. Real bad. And out of my first 18 fights, I think I won 8, and so then from there, we seen Delta Gym, and we decided to go with them, because we liked the way they had a family atmosphere. It was great. All their families and everybody was just looked like they loved one another, you know.
Which made our fighters, I feel, is different from a lot of boxers and other clubs, is the way we felt about our fighters. We felt that they were our sons.
You know, everybody was close knit. The family came in. Mr. Frank accepted them. You know, even if they didn't want to get in the ring, they could still come in the gym and work out. And it was amazing how the gym was like a family. You know, didn't matter race, color, or nothing. It was just a close knit group of guys.
In the days, of course, we didn't have too many African American participants at the gyms, you know, and it was something new. And I was kind of criticized for letting them sign up. I said, well, why not? You want to participate, so I signed them up. And
You know, of course, Delta was predominantly a Caucasian gymnasium, and I was one of two African Americans in the gym. You felt so accepted, you know, and everybody was equal in acceptance, and it made sense, you know. It just absolutely made sense. I mean, you didn't have to get into the ideas of a racial divide. It didn't exist. The Delta playground and the Delta experience, you know, it was so family oriented, and it was non-exclusional. So no one was, if you was a kid and you at Delta and you part of the Delta playgrounds, you know, fields of activity and so on and so forth like that, then you're accepted and you're part of us, and we're your family and you're our family.
Three men, Frank Gerard, Phil Maul, and Joey Hartigan, were tacticians. They knew what to do, what to say, where your faults were, where your strong points were. They know the game.
Frank Gerard told me the basics. He taught me the 1, 2, 3, how to box. Just how to box, just to stand up there and box. And then I had other coaches, Phil Maul and Joe Hartigan. They used to fight on who would tell me what to do. So I take a little bit from each one of them, you know, and it was great because, you know, they wanted to teach me what they knew, you know, and them guys helped me drastically.
Frank Gerard was a terrific organizer, and so he set up everything and left the boxing training to me and Joe Hartigan and Johnny Capitana, and that's the way it worked out.
Boxing's a very lonely sport, very lonely. And when you're 15, 16, and 17, you're a young kid. You want to go out and party and this and that and the other. That didn't work with Mr. Frank. I mean, he wanted you there, doing what you had to do, and live a good, clean life. No drinking, no smoking, no rat in the streets. And you did that because if you wanted to go anywhere, you had to go by the rules. And that's what it is. And it was discipline.
You know, Mr. Frank was like, he starts you and he'll go, I'm going to put you with this guy, you know, because he's not as strong as the other guy. And then he'll put you with another guy and he'll build your confidence up, because that's what I had, lack of confidence as a boxer, you know. And then within 6 months being at Delta Playground, there was a guy at Harahan Playground who used to destroy me. And then 6 months later, I'm in the ring with him. And I'm like, but I had the confidence to fight him. And all I did was fought him. I didn't know if I didn't know if I was going to beat him. Most of the guys I went in, I didn't know if I was going to beat him. But I beat him. And I beat him, you know, pretty good.
Frank is a great motivator, you know. He knows how to say the things to you that really can get you going, you know. I remember things he used to tell me in fights to this day, you know. Just little subtle things he would say that didn't seem like much when he was saying them, but afterwards you realized that he was the one, you know, behind you, you know, making you a better fighter.
You know, but that's what he did. He put you in the ring. It's just you and, you know, he challenged you.
And it's the same thing goes with all your assistant coaches, like guys like Jared Corona, Butch Jones, Kenny Maloney, Phil Maul. You know, you can't measure what these people dedicate themselves also. It's not only me as far as the organizer.
Coach Phil Moe, he's the one who probably taught me the best thing in the world. I got in the middle of the ring. He told me to put my foot on the piece of tape and jab and hook, jab and hook. You learn how to do that. He said you learn how to fight, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try it. Every day I did it. Every day I did it, and every fight after that, a guy get me in the corner, and I got him out the corner because I jabbed and hooked, and I put the guy right in the back. That one thing helped me go from here to the top.
Phil Moore would teach you the techniques of boxing, like pairing and the way you move. Frank would teach you how to shift and move your body weight to land punches. But Phil, he knew the techniques and just the ins and outs of the tricks. But Phil was a good coach.
He was, do it fast, double up, triple up, one behind the other.
It was more or less the guy that taught me, the major things of boxing, how to jab, how to hook and all that, because Mr. Phil loved the left hook, That became one of my better punches, through my career.
So the coaches really gave him the value of their time. They gave him some quality time, so every fighter had what I had.
But the coaching there was just so much better. They would work with you. They, one boxer at a time, and give you each, what you needed.
You get up every morning at 5:30. You go do your 5 miles. You come back. You shower. You go to sleep. You wake up at 11, 12:30. Work out from 1 to 5:30. Go to dinner. Piece of meat, a salad, and iced tea. And that's it. 1 meal a day. That's it.
Mr. Frank and Mr. Phil, they insisted that we get up and run every morning. And if they felt like we wasn't running, they made us run after we got off boxing.
And Frank trained you, and Phil trained you every day. 5 days a week we trained, and they trained you every day to be in shape and to know what you was doing inside the ring.
My stepfather Mac, he used to get up every morning with me, and we would run. The only bad thing is that he couldn't count too good, so I ran extra laps. But he did that on purpose because he knew I'd do it. And
Let's talk about the mother and father. The mother washed the sweaty clothes. The mother fixed the special meals. You talk about the boxer all the time, but what about the people behind that? And that's what makes them successful. Without the parents, he's not going to make it.
well, my mom, she was, you got your daddy fighting, your mom. I'm fighting because my mom was fighting because she didn't, if I lost, she goes, well, why you lost to that guy? I said, I don't know, whatever. So, but she was the tough one in the family. She would bring us to the gym, and our gym was probably, 10, 15 miles from my house. Every night she'd there, and she'd sit in our car for 2 or 3 hours and let us train.
We were fighting amateur. We did especially the training before we go to the tournaments. The drills we used to go through. Oh, that was amazing. It just wore me out.
This would always have to do what they called the drill. We'd punch the bag continuously for a minute. We'd do probably 15, 16 of these drills. And one would hold the bag, the other one would punch. Then they'd say switch, and then we'd get a 30-second rest, and then we'd swap back and forth. And it was conditioning. We were always in shape.
Before I went to school, every morning I'd run 5 miles. And people said, well, you're crazy. I said, yeah, but that's what it takes to win. Al was, very good fighter. Very mean. I would. Them guys are like my idols, and I wanted to be as good as them.
Well, as an amateur, I ended up amassing like 118 amateur fights, and all of them was good fights. The one that I lost, the one that I won, they were all good because they all went into the to the tank of information on how to fight better in the future. And you lose and you win. You know.
I mean, we had the Capitana boys, whose father was a professional, and they were outstanding fighters. Johnny Capitana and Ricky Capitana, they were all, and I think they had an older brother. They were tremendous fighters.
Yeah, the Capitana brothers had three of them. Johnny was the most successful. Johnny won the national 125-pound championship, AAU. He was a good little boxer. Couldn't hit very hard, but very smart.
I had altogether I had 67 fights and I had 52 knockouts. You know, and I won the gold gloves twice. I won the silver gloves once, and I won the Junior Olympics twice, and I won the Nationals in Dayton, Ohio. And then I turned pro. I had 12 pro fights. And, I had 6 knockouts, and I lost 2 fights.
Talking about Gary Ramirez, that's really a success story. I remember Gary coming to the gym.
He was so cool. He'd drive his little car and he would low ride, and we always couldn't see his head, so he'd go low ride, you know.
I think he weighed about 290 pounds. And he had dropped out of school. And he came to the gym more or less as a spectator, you know. And there again, after a while, I walked up to him and wanted to know, could I help him? He said, I'd like to sign up, you know.
In the fight game and in the boxing, Gary was extraordinary. He could fight and he can box. And he was the art of boxing. He was the art of the way they teach it. They teach you to hold your hand that way. Gary held his hand that way.
And after about a year later, he said that he was thinking about joining the service. I said, well, what branch would you like to go in? He said, the Marine Corps. So I called the recruiting officer, and he came to the gym. And he went on and he boxed in the Marine Corps. And I would say he won at least 6 or 7 or 8 different championships while in the Marine Corps.
So I was representing the United States in the Asian Games in '76. I think I was in Taipei, Taiwan. It didn't dawn on me the magnitude it said, because when I stepped into the ring, like I said, you're boxed in and you never see, but I had enough time to look at it, and I gazed out, and I was fighting in front of 100,000 people, 100,000. And I fought this guy, and he was tough. He was a tough guy representing the country of China, Chinese Republican national champion. And I was a tall middleweight, 6 foot, 160 pounds, but he was like 6'3", very awkward. He had a lot of arms and legs. It was kind of an easy fight for me, you know, to win the gold medal, but I was the only one who won the gold medal.
He was the type of kid, he would work out with the less stronger boxers. He would help them out. In other words, you take sometimes, because of a guy's ability, he'll go ahead and try to punish somebody, you know, but not Gary. Gary would kind of tap you a little bit just to let you know that you got an opening, so just let you know that bring that hand up or get the elbows in, stuff like that.
Well, working with younger boxers was always a big thing to me. When I come home on leave when I was in the Marine Corps, I'd always come back to Delta, of course, you know, to work out. And a lot of the young kids, and I used to love to look at their faces because they were just young, and you know, you work with them, and you know, and regardless if they become champions or not, they're champions in my eyes because they took the effort.
David Collette, tremendous fighter. He won many state championships. Also fought in the Olympic trials up in New York. 16 years old.
Won a junior nationals, very good fighter. They all come up underneath me. When David won the junior nationals, he fought 5 guys, and 4 of them were southpaws. I'm a southpaw. He knocked all of them out, which was amazing.
I worked my way up through the intermediate division and then the senior division. The senior division was 15 and 16-year-olds. And when I turned 16, I won the Junior Olympics here in the local division, local area. And then from there, we go to Houston, Texas in the regionals. And then from there, we go to the nationals. And I won the National Junior Olympics in Squaw Valley, California in 1980. And the arena was beautiful. It was where they held the 1964 Olympics. It was an ice skating arena. And the back of it was open up to the mountains. So it was cold. It was actually in August, but it was cold. But I can remember Johnny Ray was the team coach. And I think my first bout in the National Junior Olympics in Squaw Valley, I had to fight the returning champion from the previous year. And I didn't know nothing about it, but he kept on running it up mouth about because I was off with my parents at the time. They were out sightseeing, but came in and knocked him out in the first round. And then the winners of the National Junior Olympics went to Puerto Rico to fight the Puerto Rican champion. And then I went to Puerto Rico and I fought the Puerto Rican champion and beat him there. I knocked the guy out in the first round, and the other coaches, they wanted to see my gloves, see if I had anything inside of my gloves. That was pretty fun. And I had 7 bouts starting from here locally up to Puerto Rico. I had 7 first round knockouts. I turned open at 16, and I fought in a lot of national championships. I won the state Golden Gloves here several times, and I went and fought in a bunch of Golden Gloves national championships, and then I fought in some ABF championships. It was ABF back then. Then I turned pro at approximately about 26, 27 years of age. And then I had 16 professional bouts, and I was 14-2 as a pro. And as an amateur, I had 105 amateur bouts. I was 89 wins and 16 defeats.
Yes, Larry, he was boxing for Harahan at the time. I think he's about 65 pounds, approximately. And I think he had about 10 or 12 fights at the time. And I don't know if he won any of them or if he won a couple of them.
At Harahan, he was good. You can see that he had good ability, tenacity. He wanted to fight. He understood the game, and he had energy. So you knew that he was training. You knew that with Larry. He wasn't somebody that was going to be stopped.
And it's like I told you, my career started when I had lost. My record was 8-10, 8 wins and 10 losses. My final count on amateur boxing was 145-20. So in the first year I lost 10 fights, and then I lost 10 over the next 5 or 6 years, and that's fighting against the best fighters in the world.
Parents and grandparents were big fight fans, and they wanted to see Larry in the program, and it paid off. Eventually he boxed in Europe and was one of the best fighters we had back there.
But anyway, he came over and we signed him up, and the rest is history. He went on, won all like Junior Olympics, the Golden Gloves, AAU. He represented the United States on several Olympic Committee teams. He fought in Montreal. He fought in England. He fought in Romania. Just on and on.
Larry, tall and skinny. Man, this guy can't break eggs, but let me tell you, and Larry hit you with 3,000 punches. Brrr, he was like a buzzsaw.
And nothing I could say that would measure as far as Larry's dedication.
I guess I'll start off with the Golden Gloves. I won that for the first time. I was 16 years old fighting against a 25 or 26-year-old man. Shouldn't have been in the ring with him, but I beat him for the state championship. I won 3 or 4 state championships, Golden Gloves, and AAU I won 4 championships also. And then I went on from there to the Nationals. 2 times I finished. 2 times I finished in the top 3 in the United States, and then in '78 was probably I would say one of my biggest accomplishments was winning a national championship against a 2-time Olympian. You know, I fought 2 guys that both were national champions. I fought, you know, one was Anthony Fletcher and another was Davey Armstrong. Beat them back-to-back nights for the national championship. Got to go fight for the World Championships in 1979, which is an honor to represent the United States. I fought on the U.S. team that fought against Germany, Venezuela. I went to England. You know, I got some real good experiences going all over the world. And, you know, I won some, lost some, but, you know, it's great representing the United States and traveling all over the world. And then I turned professional and had 3 professional fights, and I won all 3 of them by knockout.
Oh, Paul Whitaker. Well, Paul, he came as a youngster also. I think he was about 11 when he started. He wound up having 135 fights, and he was a tremendous boxer. And there again, he had family support, which you got to have to be successful. You know.
Paul was just a little youngster there. His grandparents and his parents followed him wherever he went. And it didn't make any difference whether it was Opelousas, Lafayette, Baton Rouge. They followed him wherever he went. And Paul was one of the best fighters we had back there.
Paul Whitaker is younger than me, and I was kind of like the guy they were looking up to. And I trained Paul. I was actually with Paul when he won his first state championship. It kind of was nice because I just had climbed out the ring. I was fighting in the AAU championships, and they had 3 rings going on. I jumped out of the ring, took my gloves off, and coached him, won his first state championship. And Paul, you know, went on from there. You know, Paul, he world champion.
As an amateur, you know, I had 121 amateur fights. The record was 104-17, and I did good. Fought in the Golden Gloves. Went to the Nationals a couple times. No luck, but I always tell people I didn't have luck as an amateur. I had luck as a pro, you know, and it was good. I had a good career. You know, I fought, you know, went and fought in other states and stuff. Just didn't have luck as an amateur. As a pro fighter, I had 30 pro fights, 26-4 with 22 knockouts. I fought 3 world champions, which was 3 of my 4 losses, and then my last loss, my last fight was a loss, and I defended my title against a guy by the name of Randy Yonkers out of Alabama, and he went on to fight for 2 world championships.
You fought Wilfred Benitez.
Right, a 3-time world champion, youngest champion.
So talk about that. Say, you know, talk about the fight. I was there.
Right.
That was a big stage. I mean,
Yeah,
the
right.
place was freaking packed. So
Right, we was in the Superdome when I fought him in 1986, and I fought him 10-round fights. He was 3-time world champion, youngest champion ever in boxing at the age of 17. I went on to fight him. We fought 10 tough rounds, and I lost a split decision to him.
Under 20 seconds now in the first round, and Benitez has learned a little bit about Paul Whitaker, that he does pack a wallop. Our main event on Wednesday Night Fights, Wilfred Benitez and Paul Whitaker from the Superdome.
My most significant thing in boxing was winning the title. You know, when I won the title, who the heck ever thought I'd do that, you know? Great feeling when you win the title. You know, I have the belt and stuff now. Of course, they don't take the belt back. They let you keep it. So that was, you know, I'll keep it and stuff. It was the North American Boxing Federation title, which by winning that, it got me rated number 5 in the world. And that set me on to go over to France and fighting for the title again. The greatest feeling in the world was when I fought in France. There's 30,000 Frenchmen in this arena, and it was a bloodless bull arena now, but back in the day, it was a gladiator arena. And I walked through the crowd, and they was grabbing at me, and I wore a hood over my head with a rope tied around my neck, like the hangsman, and stuff like that. Just to be crazy, we did that, and that was a great moment, man. That just and when you stepped in the ring and they sung that national anthem for me. I was only one American there, so it was about me, and the people back home.
The bottom line was it was a way to keep the kids off the streets.
The impact on Delta boxing is like crazy because I don't think I'd be where I'm at today. I don't think it would be nothing good.
I think boxing is the greatest sport in the world, I really do. I think it builds character. I think, that it's helped me a lot later on in life with my business and stuff like that. Just as far as, you got to put in your all if you want to get anything out of it. It's one of those kind of things. You can't half-step through that.
It kind of guided me, because if I fight that hard for a trophy, what am I going to do for my rest of my life,
I would say more than anything, it's the lessons I learned from it. Applied it to life. A lot of people don't know that. When you get in the ring, it's just you and another person.
If it wasn't for boxing, I would have become another statistic. I would have been in jail doing something, But boxing gave me that opportunity to better myself. I'll never forget that.
Like I said, I wouldn't have gotten to where I'm at in my life if it wasn't for amateur boxing with Frank.
I got to thank them guys every day. I thank God every day that some kind of way he got me involved with something, boxing. It's dead now, but it helped a lot of us, a lot of guys. It helped us over the years.
I wish they had things like that for kids today around here. I think it's needed.
Life after boxing, rough, painful. It's an everyday struggle to get up sometimes out of bed. It was good to me in one way, and in the long run, it's not good to me because I live in pain every day of my life.
It happens to all us guys. You stay in the game long enough, you're gonna get that syndrome. That's why toward the end of my career, I started getting real bad headaches, and I told myself, that's your body telling you, hey, it's time to get out. And that was it for me.
I had a lot of fights, pro and amateur, which takes a toll on your body. Your body's not made for all that.
Live a great life. I've been in business for myself for about 30-something years now. Diesel mechanic. Then I got into the Lord, got ordained as a minister, and I started going to prisons and doing my ministry there.
I tell my granddaughter, I said, look, your grandfather really didn't accomplish too many things in his life, but one thing I did accomplish, and I'm very, very proud of, is my boxing career.
I've been an electrician for 30 years now, and I've been a member of the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 130, for over 17 years. I am a supervisor for Frischhertz Electric now. I worked my way up to get this position.
I have 2 children. My daughter's 33, and I have 3 grandchildren. Well, 2 and 1 on the way. And I have a son who's 26, and both of them got college degrees, which that was something for me important to get my kids to do, because I didn't go to college. Now, I've been married to the same woman since, we've been together since 15 years old, and we're still together.
Mr. Frank, you know, he's the type of guy, he always encouraged you to do good things, always wanted you to be the best you could be. He never talked negative about anything to you. Just a real guy that you wanted to kind of idolize a little bit about, you know, being, because he flew with hundreds and thousands of kids through the years with the playgrounds, you know. Great guy, just really gave me put me in the right direction as a man, you know.
Mr. Frank was a good friend of mine. I mean, he helped me every which way he can. He motivates you. He's a very polite person, and he cares about everybody that's around him.
You know, but that's what he did. He put you in the ring. It's just you and, you know, he challenged you.
But Mr. Frank Gerard, he told all of us, he didn't want all of us running around trying to call him Frank, trying to call him Mr. Frank, trying to call him Gerard, and so on and so forth. He says, I'm gonna give all of you a name to call me. And it's the whole gym. He says, everybody gonna call me Holmes. So when you're with me, you're at home. So I'm home. So call me Holmes, you know. So, oh, okay, that's cool. So we all started calling him Holmes.
He had a positive impact, you know. I came from a broken home. I mean, I still had a relationship with my father, but, you know, he was like a real positive male influence, you know, as far as, you know, what, you know, men are supposed to help young boys. He helped me, you know, he really did. He gave me a different outlook on things, and it just kind of made things better for me all the way around. You know, boxing was good for me.
Frank Gerard, home, you know, he took care of us. He gave us a place to go, to do the things that we needed to do to get out of trouble. You know, the things to keep us off the street, and he's done it for me and numerous other guys.
Mr. Frank Gerard, definitely my second father.
I mean, he's a very likable person, and he, you know, he'll never let you down. You know, there's nothing about Frank that you wouldn't like. There's a lot about him you could love.
Everybody else called him home, and the reason why, I guess if I would, you say why I call him home is because where's the best place to go? Anybody knows, home.